Mr. Matt Damon has just joined us.
Matt Damon has just joined us. I'm just looking at your bio, Matt. How many sports movies have you been in?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, like there was the rugby one. There was Invictus. I don't know, man. I don't know. You're looking at my bio. You'll probably have a better idea. I'm not sure how many movies I've done. I've probably done more than 50. So,
all right. I got you as an extra in Field of Dreams.
That's true. Yeah, Ben and I were extras in that. Actually, just to go to Fenway, we were extras in Field of Dreams. Like there were probably 3,000 extras in a big crowd scene when Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones are at the baseball game.
But how old are you? Do you get to talk to Costner?
You know what? We did. Costner came out and hung out with the extras. And Ben and I went and struck up a conversation with him. And he probably gave us 5 minutes. Like he was incredibly generous with his time.
Did you pitch a movie? Did you do your elevator pitch?
No. We just told him, we knew we wanted to be actors. I was probably 17 and Ben was probably 15. And we were already traveling to New York and auditioning. And, we were like, we have agents. and he was really, he was great. He was, it's like these two kids who were like, and it happens to me all the time. People come up, kids come up and they're like, I want to be an actor. And it's like, fantastic. Good for you, man. Like, go get them.
School ties, you were a running back? You had fumble issues?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's prep school football in 1955. We were running out of a wing tee, so I don't think it was like a very serious sports movie. But we did go and practice like a month early. Like they wanted to make sure that that we knew what we were doing.
And then you lost your girlfriend to Brendan Fraser.
Listen, it can happen. It's an occupational hazard. Brendan's a great guy.
Yeah. You're not the first guy to lose a girl to Brendan Fraser.
I doubt I am the first guy to lose a girl to Brendan.
Is Rounders a sports movie?
That's a good question. I mean, you probably have to ask professional poker players. I mean, I think they would tell you it's a sport. I would say, I mean, just the architecture of the script. Yes, it's a sports movie. Like it's exactly how you would design it if we were wrestling or playing basketball. So in that sense, it's a sports movie.
Who's more complicated or maybe interesting, John Malkovich or Ed Norton?
Listen, those are two of our best actors, on the two of the best that our country has produced. So I wouldn't say either is less complicated than the other. They're both great guys and they're both a lot of fun to work with. They're both very serious, but they both work out of a place of total joy and they want it to be fun. So no, I couldn't really draw a distinction between them.
Let me give you the official introduction here. He's Matt Damon, actor, producer, screenwriter, and Tom Brady apologist, it says here.
Apologist? I don't apologize for anything. Listen, I love that guy. I make no apologies.
Okay, if the Bucs played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, who would you root for?
Tom Brady.
Okay, all right. The movie is called Stillwater, opens in theaters this Friday. And so you're a guy from Oklahoma, Stillwater. You travel to France. Your daughter is there in prison. Now, let me see if I can do the connect the dots. Abigail Breslin is your daughter.
Yeah.
Abigail Breslin played in Little Miss Sunshine. She was the star. Greg Kinnear played in Little Miss Sunshine as her dad.
Yes.
You guys played Stuck on You, the Farley Brothers, and then you met your wife when you were doing that movie. How did I do?
You got everything right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's nothing else to talk about there, Matt. How do you nail an accent? How do you know when, okay, I got that Oklahoma accent?
Well, it's tough. I mean, you got to spend a lot of time with it. I went down. I actually worked a lot in Texas when I was in my 20s. Just a lot of the movies I got were down there. So I lived down in that part of the world quite a bit and love it down there. And so I remember the rhythm and the cadence and how people talk, but this was a very specific place and a very specific type of guy. He's a roughneck. And so I just went down to Oklahoma and hung out with those guys. And that's usually the best way to do it. And I also have a dialect coach, Tim Monick, who we can analyze and sit there and write down on paper exactly what's happening. But the best way to do it usually is to listen. Tim will have on file a lot of different voices and a lot of different, and we'll just listen and just start to get into the, you kind of by osmosis, you eventually pick it up, but you do some technical work so you understand what's happening, but there's no substitute for just going there and hanging out.
But when you go to hang out, how long does it take for the locals to allow you to kind of absorb whatever you're absorbing?
Yeah, that's a good question. Cause we got down there and those guys were understandably wary of us. They're like, what are you like, Hollywood, like liberal, what are you doing down here? Like making a movie about a roughneck. Like what are your intentions? You know what I mean? Like, and I think once they realized like we were just trying to get it right. And this is a movie that has a lot of empathy and compassion for this character that I play. It's a movie about this journey this guy goes on. So once they realized that we weren't there to poke fun at him or anything, that we were there to really, to get it accurately. They were incredible and really brought us in. It's one of the great things about my job. I get to like parachute into somebody else's life who's like, that roughneck culture in Oklahoma is so different from, Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I grew up. It's like a different world, and I can't get it right unless those guys let me come in and see what their life is like and talk to them about it and gather information. And they just could not have been more helpful.
Do you sprinkle in McConaughey type accent, like accidentally?
His accent's a little softer than the one in this movie, and I mean, Matthew's, Matthew can play it up or down. Matthew actually can do a perfect impression of me. Cause I was, when we did Interstellar together, he was like, all right, you do this impression of me. And I was like, yeah, I just found out that like my voice could sound like yours if I just dropped down a little bit and went south. And I'm like, if you come up and go north, you'll get me perfectly. And he started doing it. We were in a van in Iceland and I was crying. I was like, because he's perfect. But he was like, I need a catchphrase. I need a catchphrase for you. Cause I would do like, hey, I'm going to take my shirt off, and like, I do that, and he's like, you have a catchphrase. I need a catchphrase. So we got to come up with a catchphrase for Matthew. And then you can hear.
Could he fool your wife?
We have a similar vocal quality in a certain, like if we aim at it, like we could, I'm sure he could over the phone, fool her. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Bagger Vance. I forgot to mention that. Another sports movie.
Okay. Well, you had to bring it up.
Wait, you're not all in on Bagger Vance? No.
Well, listen, I love the experience. I love, Robert Redford and Will and Charlize and like, that the experience was great. And I learned how to play golf, but I'd never picked up a golf club before that movie. I grew up in a city and I picked up, and I look at that movie and cringe when I look at my golf swing. But to be fair, I look at my golf swing and cringe today. So
we had an idea for Funny or Die. Let's say you go to some place in Europe and you just start running and jumping into a car and you have some guy who's chasing you. People will think that there's another Bourne movie being shot. Like you just do it out of nowhere. You just start running down the street.
Yeah. And just jump into like a smart car.
Yes.
Where somebody,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get me out of here right now. We got to move. Right. Yeah. 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 It might work. I also might get like hit in the head with a hammer.
You could, but it'd be Funny or Die. That'd be the die part of it.
It would. It's the first skit that for Funny or Die where someone might die.
How old is too old to be Jason Bourne?
Listen, if there's a good story, it's, you're never too old to be that guy, and I, look, eventually, I mean, I would love to do another one. And and at some point I'm going to have to pass it on. I would love to figure out a way to hand it off to somebody. A man or a woman. I mean, as if that name is, a name that we use and it can be anybody, right? Like, but we got to come up. It's got to be good. I just, I love those movies. We all, there are a lot of really great friends of mine who put a lot into those, and we don't want to mess it up. So if we do it, it's got to be good.
What was the stunt you did in any of the Bourne movies where you look back and go, what the hell was I thinking?
I think on the first one, when I climb out down the embassy in Prague, I remember shooting that, and I was in a harness on the side of this building, and it was a particularly cold day in the winter in Prague. So let's say it was like -10. And I was so cold, and I'm hanging on this thing, and I'm a couple 100 feet up in the air and trying to grip this wall. And I just remember, and I was about 29, 30 years old. And I was like, what am I doing? This is crazy. But the sequence is great. It was worth it.
And Matt wants everybody to know that this new movie, Stillwater, has gotten great reviews. Standing ovation at Cannes, right? Cannes.
Yeah.
Cannes.
Cannes. Yeah. It was great. And it was also the first time I'd been in a movie theater in, almost 2 years. And so I got oddly emotional. I was like, I got choked up, and I kind of snuck up on me. But it felt great to be in a movie theater again. Look, I'm like everyone else. I'm so sick of this COVID thing. It's like I can't get back to normal life fast enough. But I know we're Delta variant and all that stuff, and we're dealing with it. But I miss hanging out with people.
But also, and you want people to know this isn't like Liam Neeson in Taken, because people, right. I think, right? Because it feels like, somebody's going over to someplace in Europe to get his daughter back.
Thank you for bringing that up, man, because particularly for like people who listen to this show, which I do, the movie might look like one of those movies because the setup is like that, right? His daughter's in jail. It's like one of those things, and you're expecting that kind of Liam Neeson hero, or Jason Bourne for that matter, to come in and kick some ass and have the skill set to kind of solve all the problems. This is decidedly not that movie. This is a movie about a real dude, a roughneck who's in that situation, who comes over, and his daughter's 5 years into this sentence for a crime that she didn't commit, and he's been an absentee dad. So he's messed up this relationship, and he's trying to repair the damage that he's done with his, by his failures. And doesn't have the skill set, and he doesn't have, and he's just doing his level best to help his daughter. And so it's much more of a drama than a thriller. So just anybody listening to it, if you go there expecting like any kung fu, you're going to be sorely disappointed. It's a movie about real people.
Where are you right now? Who came up with the background there in that room?
I'm in Brooklyn, New York. I'm at the One Hotel where they're doing this press junket, and look at these. There's jars of, I don't know what those are.
What is that?
I don't know. It's what hipsters do. I'm in Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, but you live in Brooklyn, don't you?
I do. I live down the street, but I didn't want to do this in my house. It's church and state, man. I gotta keep these things separate.
5 years ago today was the last time we had you on.
Is it really that long?
5 years ago today.
God, how many?
Where the hell did you get too big for us? Because if you did,
clearly not.
Okay, now you're crawling back. I knew it.
Crawling back, begging.
I knew it.
For a little DP in my life.
And I think that you called in, and you called in 8 years ago from your home in Miami, and Paulie picked up and he said, "Oh, you're calling from Miami," and you go, "I thought my number was blocked." And we had caller idea, and you asked Paulie, my producer, "Hey, how do I get this blocked? This number?" Paulie's like, I don't know. Don't you have like agent? Don't you have people who help you with this stuff?
That's really funny because I still have the same number and it's blocked and everybody complains. Like if I FaceTime someone, they're like, I knew it was you because it was blocked. I don't know how it got blocked. And I didn't remember that. So maybe Paulie's the one who told me how to block it. And that was the genesis of all of it.
Paulie, you still have Matt's number, don't you?
I can't deny her.
No, say it to him and then he'll see if it's true or not.
I don't want to turn into Jason Bourne on me.
Just call me. I've got my phone on me. Just call me.
You got it,
have
brother.
it. We'll see.
Just text
The same
Matt.
number.
Just text Matt and just say, "Is this your number?" Hey, good luck with the movie, and don't wait another 5 years.
I don't want to, man. Okay. Hey, listen, Ben and I have this movie, The Last Duel, coming out in October. I'll come back and talk to you in a couple months.
That would be great. Hey, it's great to talk to you again, and thank you, Matt.
Go Bucs.
Go Tom. That's Matt Damon. The movie is called Stillwater. Opens in theaters July 30th.